brief background. Botanical Regeneration showed us the geophyllotin video on Food Forest, and that kind of started this buzz. And for probably about 6 months we were talking about making a food forest and planning it, and it got to the point where we thought, well, are we going to just talk about this or are we going to do it? And we set a date, and we had Ray Maki of Permaculture Kauai, Paul Massey of Botanical Regenerations, and a whole bunch of other people came up here, and we planted this food forest basically. And this is about 6 months into it now. You can see it is looking pretty good at this point. Let's go take a look underneath this, and you can see here the general principle of this whole thing was that these nitrogen fixing overstory, in the short term at the very least, will shade out and suppress these weeds such as this California grass, which would have otherwise threatened the whole project. And so we've done a few weeding passes in here to get it to this point, but basically we've successfully established a food forest. So this is an area that's been chop and dropped recently. We just chopped all this pigeon tree back, and we took the mulch from it, and we put it around our trees that we wanted to encourage. And you can see this pigeon pea is starting to get buds, and it's just going to grow right back and do the same thing it was doing, suppressing weeds. You see here we had a mountain apple, and around that mountain apple, this is all pigeon pea mulch, and we're just transferring nutrients from our nitrogen fixers, which are our primary biomass throughout this whole system, and we're moving it to our long-term overstory trees, our fruit trees. Ooh, what is this? It's like some kind of breadfruit. We got vetiver planted here on these hedgerows, and I think vetiver has a lot of potential, especially here in the tropics for controlling erosion. Another one of the reasons why we have this food forest, why we established it, is to have a nursery where we can get cuttings and slips and spread these trees all over the island. We got a whole bunch of different trees out here, a whole bunch of different things. I'm really stoked on this vetiver. I'm gonna start taking some slips off it myself. Let's find a potato. Here, check this out. It's probably difficult to see on the camera. This is a potato slip that we planted, a sweet potato slip. And I mean, there's thousands of these planted in the ground. Every single one, each one is developing this mound at its base. And when you scratch through this mound, the ground is actually swelling up with sweet potatoes. Look at this. Let's take this out here just to show you. This is really cool. I love harvesting. And that's a pretty good sized potato. See, we got some sunflower going here. Gliricidia's finally taken off. Pigeon pea, we started from seed, and we put them in some cases almost 2 feet apart, just to help it thicken up. Squash is one of the dominant ground covers that we planted throughout this whole system. Hard parts picking them all up. Great example here of our overstory suppressing weeds. You can see here, once we got it going, combined with the cardboard, there's very little weeds under here. You can see here we're starting to get to the point where it's cycling its own leaf litter, cycling its own nutrients. Once this starts going, we're going to form a humus layer. The secret to healthy soil is to always keep it covered. Here we got a citrus. And as we walk along, you can see this is an area that was cardboarded. Not too much weeds, but there's a little bit of weeds. We'll have to do a weeding pass. Some basil. It's got honeybees all over it. There's some amaki tea somebody planted. More yacon. We got lemongrass planted on this swale here. Let's hop over the swale and see what's in here. If you start to get in the area that had a little less, or rather a little more acidic soil, possibly from just being on a hillside and being eroded in the past. Mangosteen. Oh, chicken. Now some of these places are planted really dense, and other areas are planted a bit more sparse. So you can see right here, this is a sloped land. It's got a swale underneath it, a swale on top of it, and for about 15 feet we got nitrogen fixtures planted on the swale, and there's a bunch of sweet potato all through here. And then we got our basin for catching water, and another swale. And I mean, you could have a community garden right here, basically. This is like a little agroforestry plot. So we planted some kalo through here. Cool to see. I love taro. Little makeshift shade house again over some kind of plant that probably wasn't doing that well in full sun. It's like maybe another mame sapote. I'm not really sure what this is. What is this? This is a mame sapote. Yeah. Let's take the shade house off. And I'm not worried about leaving it in here because all it's going to do is become mulch and cycle into the system. Awesome. All kinds of edible plants. And we just been putting them out here. No problem there. The more the merrier. What is this? This looks like a star apple. Now you see here, this area was probably filled in with squash, and it's since died back a little. Another plant. And but check this out, because the lower areas that had more moisture and had better soil, man, they just took off. You get down here, and I mean, it is, every little space is filled completely. I mean, look at this. There's even like, this is a celery plant somebody planted in here. Totally delicious. Best celery I ever had in my whole life. And I kind of attribute that to the shade, you know, keeping it tender. Really refreshing. You see here we got squash, sweet potato, a little bit of just wild nitrogen fixtures going in here. It's like a Rollinia right there, starting up. And then behind that is a bunch of manioc. Look at this thing. We got squash, we got sweet potato, edible hibiscus, pigeon pea, it's a bean. We got fruits, we got sesbania, nitrogen fixers, lemongrass, basil. This place is amazing. And everybody's favorite here in Hawaii, avocado. We got a whole bunch of them in here. We try to get a bunch of seasonal varieties. And like I said, like in the future, this will be a seed source, and we can graft these trees, we can air layer them, we can use them and spread these varieties around the islands and help build agricultural diversity. And one thing I should note, this whole thing is organic. You can see here. This is all organic agriculture. But this isn't limited to organic agriculture. I mean, we could have herbicided all the weeds and not use cardboard. Like, that would have worked. It would have been a lot easier. And you still would have had this humus layer building up in the long term, and you would have helped your soil. So don't think that this is something that's difficult. Cardboarding is what we did throughout this whole place, and worked wonderfully. I mean, everybody has cardboard. Cardboard's everywhere. It's a waste product. So this is 6 months into this food forest. Already a huge success. We're doing other stuff here now. You know, we got more time in our hands since we don't have to do much weeding anymore. And so the other day we did a biodynamic composting workshop, and we made this mound here. And I bet you if I stuck my hand inside, it'd be really warm. Let's check it out. Oh yeah. Oh, that's hot. Yeah, that's really hot. I'm gonna pull my hand out of there.